The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
Well, they need to get on it and sponsor some podcasters. G Fuel, if you're listening, look us up, man.
That'd be nice.
Are we live?
Wait, what?
Huh?
When have we been live?
Oh.
How long have we been live
Oh,
for?
that's right. You're not used to this.
Yeah.
This is the
I'm
awkward
not.
intro. Welcome to the OT.
Oh,
We've been live
great.
for a minute.
Oh man. I'm just over here like looking at my phone and stuff. I feel so rude.
Oh,
You know.
that's how it is. And
That's
I think right now I'm supposed to do this so that I know when to put in the music.
Yeah,
Oh, this is weird. I'm like cueing myself for editing.
That should make it easier for you, producer Kev.
I guess so. All right, let's go.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome, family, to PSVG OT. It is I, your host, Coach Mo. No, that's not right. Coach isn't here. So in traditional OT fashion of being unprepared, this show was so unprepared it did not have a host until like an hour ago. So I'm here for Coach. He had a little thing he had to go take care of, so I told him no problem. I got you back. I will take the helm and try and fill in the shoe. No, the shoes don't make sense. Fill in the pants of Coach Mo.
No, that's
But
also wrong. He doesn't wear
he's a
pants.
big dude, so I don't. That's true. He doesn't wear pants. Fit in the football cleats of Coach Mo, which is like probably 7 sizes too big. I don't know. I'm here helping Coach
What
Mo.
is Coach Shoe says?
Big, really big, large. So anyway,
Big, large, huge.
I'm filling in for Coach. Coach's co-host is here as well. Dev, how we doing, man?
We are doing great. We're all feeling this heat wave across the country. So we're all sweltering here on the OT.
This is true. It's a hot night in the OT for sure, which is why we have our frosty G Fuel, except for Dev, who left his in the fridge.
Mine isn't exactly frosty anymore. The ice kind of melted.
You guys don't know how to do this very well. So if you couldn't tell by the voice, the Nintendame herself, Miss Caro Underwood, is here. How we doing tonight?
I'm well. It's late and I should normally be in bed, but I'm here to party.
It's only 10 o'clock. OT goes early now. Why are you going to be in bed?
I know. This could be way later.
I'm
It
an
could be
old
way
lady and I go to bed between like 10 and 11 because that's when my husband goes to bed. My husband wakes up early, and if my husband has it's just a
But
big
you don't wake
mess.
up early.
I know I don't, but
So you
I have to
go
go
to
to
bed at the same time, and then you sleep for like 5 hours later than he does. That's
he
not
likes if we go to bed together, and I'm the same way. So,
Yeah, no. That wouldn't work for me.
oh, okay.
I mean, I go to bed with her and then I get up and go play games because otherwise I'd never play games.
I thought you were
No.
saying you couldn't go to bed with Brian. That wouldn't ever work for you.
Oh,
No. That'll work for me too, yeah.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
There'd
So-
be a little bit of a problem there.
Nah, I think you'd be all right there. So we can get Caroline to bed on time or somewhat on time. Miles will jump right into it. If you didn't know, if you're a first-time listener, this is a relationship building podcast built on 2 core philosophies. Number 1 is sharing stories, and number 2 is unpreparedness. So does
Crap.
Coach Mo in any way, shape, or form prepare you for tonight?
Nah. I've already been on here once, but I was begging to come back. I was like, when am I coming back on OT? When am I going to be back? And here I am without
You didn't know
Coach.
about the awkward intro.
Yeah, how did that not
Yeah,
happen?
but he didn't like ever start me unawares last time. So I don't know. And it's been a while. It was like college football season last year. Because I remember I came back from a game on Saturday and we recorded like 1 a.m.
See, that's the old OT time.
It's been a
Yeah.
long time.
I've decided
I did a couple of those
gracious and allow you guys to be on here early because I wanted to actually podcast. with
Yeah,
you.
dude, I see the light coming through your windows still. What the heck's up with that?
Yes, it is definitely still light out here. It'll be probably light for another 45 minutes to an hour.
So we'll have to check by the end of the show if he still has the light outside.
Yeah.
That's how
It's
we'll know.
light here until about 9 o'clock.
Is it really? For me, it starts 8:30. It starts getting a little dark, but I'm higher up, so I guess that's something to do
This
with
is
it.
true.
I don't know. So anyway, story time. Very first story. We start every episode. Well, we don't. Coach starts every episode off with a memory. And tonight's memory is your first, this is so fitting for Caroline, your first theme park memory. So I'll go first since I got a little sneak preview as Coach normally does. Now, I can't remember my first theme park memory. I know I went to Disney when I was like 6 or 7, and I remember bits and pieces, but not really like a memory. Like I remember Figment in the old Journey to Imagination, which is no longer there.
Yeah.
And then as a kid, my family wasn't super rich, so we didn't do Disney all the time. We spent most of our time going to New Hampshire, which has some theme parks. They're not like Disney, but we had Storyland, we had Santa's Village, we had stuff like that. But the memory I'm going to pick, though, is probably my first theme park memory that I remember vividly. And that was with my wife when we were dating. Our 1-year anniversary, she was like, hey, do you want to go to Disney World? Have you ever been to Disney World? I said, yeah, once when I was like 6 or 7. I don't remember it. She's like, oh, my God, we have to go, because her family would go almost every year. So they were like a hardcore Disney family. She's like, I'm going to teach you how to do Disney right, which was
Lucky.
The beginning of my obsession with Disney. So me not knowing how it was going, she's like, wear super comfortable shoes, make sure you sleep well at night, this and that, blah, 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 because they are there half hour to 45 minutes prior to the park opening, and they don't leave until a cast member kicks them out.
Yeah,
and
that's how Brian's family is.
Single day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And,
Painful.
I went on. Yeah, by the second or third day, you just don't feel your legs anymore, so it's all good.
No, by like the first 30 minutes when you're out of shape, like yo. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm more out of shape than you, but anyway, I get used to that. You put on the boot camp Disney World mode when that happens there. But so we had a great time. It was just the two of us alone. It was like the first time I traveled out of state, like without my parents or anything like that. So it was a big deal for me growing up, and that's how it was. And we dated for years and years and years before we got married. But we went to Disney, having a great time. I was experiencing it all essentially for the first time. And I think every single park, it was the first time, maybe not Epcot, but MGM wasn't there last time I was there, which is now Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom wasn't there when I went as a kid, but it was there now. So all these things. But there was one thing that I remember that stands out vividly. My wife has had multiple knee surgeries. Her kneecaps would dislocate when she was younger. So she has 2 metal screws in each kneecap to hold them in place to keep them from dislocating. Well, we were walking back to our hotel room one night, and she tripped and banged her knee like really bad, like instant swell up, the pain. It didn't dislocate, but she got that feeling it was trying to dislocate, and the screws did its job, so it still hurts like hell. And I mean, I'm 17 at this point. So I'm like, I don't really know what to do. I don't know what to help you. I get her ice, and we get her up to the room. She puts her leg up, we elevate her, do that stuff. And I didn't know like what to do, how to make her feel better. I was a young Kev, stuff like that. So I went to the store inside the hotel, and I thought it was appropriate to buy the largest Winnie the Pooh I could possibly find, which was like half the size of me. So I'm walking back up there, and I walk in there, and I just remember her laughing and like happy, crying at the same time because she was in pain, but she was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. She loves Winnie the Pooh. So it was like one of those things I always remembered, and we occasionally see the pictures when we go through like old photo albums of her sitting in the hotel bed with her knee up and the ice pack, but holding the giant Winnie the Pooh. So for me, that's the first memory I have that was vivid as far as theme park things. So Carol, let's jump to you.
The first time I went to Disney World, I was 2. Believe it or not, I do remember some stuff. Namely, part of this is I remember being a little scared. And then another part was me being, I don't know. It was just bizarre. But anyway, let me go ahead and just say that I was obsessed with meeting all of the characters, and I still kind of am obsessed with meeting all the characters. So I have like my little autograph books where I've got my signatures done from, all the princesses and everybody. So back when I was 2, it was like 1991. Pinocchio was roaming the parks back then. He was just a regular walking around the parks, and you got to meet Pinocchio.
They don't do that anymore, but yeah.
No. So part of the reason I really remember this is because we have it on video on VHS, and I should probably record this with my phone, and just so you guys have some. I swear to God, it's true. I sat on Pinocchio's lap while we were waiting for the train. And Pinocchio is like holding little me. And it was my parents and my granddad and my grandmother on my dad's side. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I don't know what to do. But I mean, like, he was just like really hugging me and snuggling me. And then he's just like, shoot. He's telling everybody, he's like, you can go, leave. She's mine. Leave. And I was like, I was just kind of like, I kind of want to go back to them, but I don't know what to do because this is Pinocchio and I can't be upset around Pinocchio. So, yeah.
But if you, I mean, some of Coach's students might be listening, may not even remember like the movie Pinocchio, like what that was. That's 1,000 times creepier if you remember Pinocchio, where kids got turned into donkeys.
Yeah, I know.
Pinocchio saying, no, I'll keep this one. It's okay.
See, at that point, I hadn't seen Pinocchio because that was around the time that Disney was making all of those VHS tapes. And I don't think I got Pinocchio until like Easter when after my sister had been born. So it was at least like in 1994 or 95 is when I got Pinocchio. So, but yeah, the real Pinocchio movie is like nightmare fuel, kids. Like it's Bad News Bears. I still can't watch that movie in certain parts, like the drinking and the donkey scene. No. But yeah, I'll have to find that.
The drinking and the donkey scene.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Clerks too.
Exactly.
I'll have to definitely scrounge up the VHS and at least take like a video of it with my phone because it's something. Like looking back, I'm like, man, the Disney cast members would get in freaking trouble if they ever did that this time today.
Yeah. Also, for Coach Mo's kids, a VHS tape is what was around before DVDs or Blu-rays. We gotta remember the audience here. I think most of them weren't born in 1995.
I still have all of my Disney VHS at my parents' house.
The giant clamshells.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, Dev. So what's your first?
I gotta change them over to DVD though. Sorry.
That's illegal. You can't do that. Disney will sue the pants off of you.
No, I meant like buy them once they get out of the vault. I just got to like work on my collection.
All right. That's fair enough. Disney doesn't do the vault anymore, by the way. You can just buy them all. They stopped doing the vault like years ago. They said, why stop? Because we can get money. Yeah. They'll release new versions of them. But if you walk into like, so in typical Disney fashion, when they had the vault.
Of everything.
Right. That's the thing. They're doing the Diamond Edition. So they're re-releasing some. But never in a time in the past would you be able to walk in and buy like every single Pixar movie on Blu-ray. You can do that now. And clearly, you think about how long Pixar's been around, there would be stuff in the vault right now if they were still doing that. They haven't announced they stopped doing the vault, but if you think about it, nothing ever goes away. You can always find the stuff on Amazon now, like any Disney movie, except for Song of the South, but we won't get into that. You can find on Blu-ray like pretty much now. But they may not have done the Diamond Edition, but you can get every Pixar on Blu-ray, which, you know, that wouldn't happen if the vault still existed. So
I never even realized that, but yeah, so we have everything. And Pinocchio is nightmare fuel, but nightmare fuel in a good way. My kids have watched Pinocchio, and they will watch it again. These are lessons you must learn.
Don't lie. Or I'll turn you to wood.
And people will steal you and sell you. And
Exactly. Act right. Stay close.
Pretty bad.
Stop tripping. So it's funny.
Oh my God. Interruption. Dev, I just got a message from my on my phone saying, your package has been delivered 5 minutes ago. Long story short, I've been waiting for a package all day, and USPS was delivering it, and I went to the mailbox impromptu before like they actually said it had been delivered, and lo and behold, it was there. So yeah, that was about an hour and a half ago, and I just got a text saying that it was here. Screw you guys. Okay.
So basically, USPS is the worst.
Yeah.
So funny, all of our stories are Disney, because Disneyland was definitely my first memory of a theme park as well. I had gone to Disney World as a young child, and I've never been back since, and I don't even remember it at all. But the first memory that I do have of a theme park was Disneyland, and it happened to be, I think it was in the second grade. One of my friends was going to Disneyland. They were actually doing the overnight thing. So it was my first time. I got to go to that, got to stay overnight in the hotel. I remember that being real cool. And then like, it was just a crazy thing. Like I get to wake up and we're at Disneyland already. Like it was just awesome. And then just being able to go through the park and see all the characters and get on Pinocchio and get on, what's it called? The ride that I remember the most, Peter Pan. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have that there too.
Yeah, that is Disney World. Yeah,
totally different. But being able to just be in that place with one of my friends, and it wasn't with family members either. It was just my friend and his family, and they were nice enough to invite me to come along and had a really good time. And it was one of my favorite memories. And to this day, like Disneyland is still like the theme park that I'd rather go to. There was a brief period in time where it was Magic Mountain, like in junior high, and then you get over that real quick, and Disneyland it's just
Now,
the greatest.
What ride is it in that's Pinocchio? Because we don't have that in Magic Kingdom here.
It's not Pinocchio. It's the what is it called? The storybook ride or whatnot. Because you go through all the lands. So you get to go through the whale from Pinocchio, and that takes you into Storybook Land, where you get to go through all the different like early Disney movies.
We still don't have that.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Really?
Yeah, no. I know the whale you're talking about because I've seen it in, ironically enough, the Disneyland Adventures on Xbox. But yeah, we don't have that in Florida.
Oh wow, it's right next to Dumbo for us.
Yeah, we have the Dumbo.
Yeah,
it got moved to the kiddie section in Toontown.
Really?
Yep. May it rest in peace. We don't plan on ever going to that side of Fantasyland ever anytime soon.
Yeah,
Toontown's gone. So.
Really?
Well, you know the area that was Toontown.
Yeah, the area formerly known as Toontown.
Oh dang, we still have Toontown.
No, they got rid of it, and that's where they put the Be Our Guest Castle, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, all the stuff they got put in there.
Yeah, it's the other things we don't have. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. You don't have room. That's why everything's all.
It is very, very compact. Yeah, we don't have to do multiple days of Disney like you guys do. We get to just go to one park, go to all the things, and then go home.
It's Disney in Florida is an art. You have to get it down pat. Like when you go, you have to get your fast passes. You have to make sure you get your fast passes out of the way so you can get more fast passes. You have to bring naproxen with you because you will be hurting. I had lidocaine cream this past time. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. My wife went a few years back. She was at a conference out in there, and she went to Disney World, and she went to a couple of parts. She was like, this is just like a whole different thing. She wasn't used to it at all.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Cray.
All right. So as we know, Coach always has the questions for you guys to kind of drop in on you. Some are from a student, some are from listeners that sent them in earlier today, it looks like. So let's jump right into them. First one comes from Shy, of course. What's up, Shy?
What up, Shy?
Hey.
Exactly. Shy. I know Coach says Shy likes when I'm on the show, so this is a weird treat that I'm here. But now Coach isn't here, so it's not the same, I'm sure. But I'm trying, Shy, I promise.
I feel bad because like some of these kids like wanted to hear Coach's responses, and Coach isn't going to be here, so maybe Coach can like edit in his own response.
Do an amendment. Do like a mini episode.
Yeah.
I'll make him tweet him out or something. Or
there you go. Yeah. So Shy wants to know, what is our goal for this fall, gaming wise?
Ha!
So for me, I mean, it's tough because there's a lot of games coming out this fall, so I'm not going to sit here and try and say like I'm going to get Red Dead Redemption 2 and I'm going to beat it this fall. That ain't going to happen. Let's put it this way. I'm wrapping up Detroit right now, and I'm about to start God of War, so I'm way behind. So I'm not going to go that route. For me, it's kind of, I have the same goal that I've had all year, is just simply to beat more games than I beat last year, or just beat games in general. Like I'm not, I got God of War. I'm really excited to play it, but I'm not starting it until I finish Detroit is done. I've been keeping up with the Far Cry stuff. There's a new DLC that drops tomorrow, so that's going to keep me busy all over again. And then we always have the problem that Fortnite is always going to get in my way from completing games. So I'm going to do my best to only play Fortnite when I have something to do, whether it's the Battle Pass challenges, and then just keep sticking on beating more games this year. So that's my goal, is just simply beat more games. It's been the same as it's been all year, and just try and check things off my backlog and not continue to build it as much as possible. But I mean, when you game share with Donnie, it's kind of tough because he's just going to buy stuff. But it is what it is. So, Caro, what's your fall gaming goal?
My fall gaming goal is to have Octopath done before September 21st, which is the first of fall this year. And I just got it this past Friday, so that goes to show you how much time I have. This game is jam-packed. Like, I mean, I feel like I've barely scratched the surface, and some of my characters are already leveled 22 out of 99. So I'd like to have that done, because also on September 21st is the release of Kevin, Hold Your Breath, Xenoblade's prequel for Xenoblade 2. So that's coming out as its own physical release. And for all of you kiddos that don't know, I've put over 350 hours into this game. And I would like to continue the tradition of me being obsessed with it. And I can't wait. So I'd like to play that to completion in time for Smash Brothers, which I think as a prequel, it's not going to take me that long because Smash comes out the day before my birthday in December.
Yeah, you got plenty of time. Plus, you beat Xeno in like 2 weeks anyway, so you don't know.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. Okay, dude, I played it for like 5 months. Are you kidding me?
You beat it, but you went back and kept collecting things you didn't need to collect, right?
No, actually, I like went along. I like do all of the side quests as I'm going, so it really took me like a month and a half to beat.
Okay, that's still.
And then I went back and did all the other stuff. But
and you're lucky I couldn't find the mute button earlier because I was going to mute you the second you said Xenoblade and just pretend like we lost you.
Oh, cold-blooded.
This is why Kevin doesn't have any friends.
I got plenty of friends. I don't know what you're talking about. They just don't play Xenoblade.
Donnie plays Xenoblade.
I never said Donnie was my friend.
Oh, you said
I didn't say he wasn't, but I never said he was.
No, you said it, not me. This is what happens when the boss is out for the week.
I don't even know what Xenoblade is.
Oh boy.
Good, keep it that way. Although I have requested to come from the library eventually, so I'll play it at some point. But I'm not.
It will be on stream in September. And my goal, gaming wise, is to just get with the streaming thing and be a cool streamer. And I really want to start letting that take off.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
So my goal, as Kevin would tell you, I don't play games. So my goal should just be to play games, right, Kev?
Yes, there you go. Other than Destiny.
Yeah, my Destiny is your Fortnite. And
Yes,
Destiny has a release in the fall, so there's no way I'm not going to play that. I mean, come on. Let's be real. Honestly, yeah, my goal is just to play more games. I'll be playing Destiny. I'm going to try and play Spider-Man and finish God of War this summer. And then buy a bunch of stuff on Black Friday that I won't play until March of next year.
I know that's right.
Yeah. And then also stream, like actually get my stuff together. And
Yeah.
That requires
why
money,
not?
though. You gotta buy a Switch first.
I don't need to buy a Switch before I start streaming. I've got the Elgato and all the stuff to stream.
Oh, I didn't know you had all that stuff.
Yeah, I've been had that. I just never had a place to stream. Now that I actually have moved and have a desk and a place to actually do it, other than my living room on the floor, which is the most uncomfortable thing ever.
Speaking of which, it's not a Yeti caster.
No, it's not. It's just a.
Oh, it's just the nice mic. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a nice mic, but not the whole boom. And I want that eventually, but not before I get the Switch. So, yeah. You hear that, Donnie? I'm not buying anything else till I get a Switch just for you.
It is $200 microphone setup. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so next question comes in from Mark. What are your feelings on college? He wants one do and one don't. So this one I got a problem with. Oh, coach is gonna get mad at me. No, it's all right. I will give you the do and don't, but my overall feelings on college. This is where we get pseudo political, I think, a little bit. I hate the fact that college has now become something, number one, that you will never get out of debt from. Realistically. We hear all the time the stories now, we see them and we forget, especially people like Devin and myself who may not consider it a lot of times when you think about it, but by definition, we are millennials. And you see the news articles come out like, why aren't millennials buying houses? Why aren't millennials joining country clubs? Why aren't millennials buying diamonds?
Because we're up to our eyeballs in debt.
It's not even that. I literally saw a job posting the other day that said, bachelor degree required, master's degree preferred.
Is the one with a 10 to 11 minimum wage type
it's
thing?
Like the pay rate is $10 to $12. Like we can't afford that if we wanted to. Like that's the crazy thing. So I hate the fact that college has now basically become from, instead of being something that you want to do or need to do to get into certain fields, it's now getting almost to the point that like if you want to be a manager at Walmart, you need to have a bachelor's degree, which makes no sense because if anything, that's a skill trade that a lot of people don't consider it, but that's something that just can be a skill that's taught to somebody. That's not something you need to be like, oh no, you need to be highly educated to be a manager. Well, no, you don't.
Yeah, you don't learn.
You learn by doing it. Exactly.
You don't learn that in college.
Exactly. So for me, that's my feelings of college. I wish it was something that people that, depending on the field they wanted to go into, it made more sense as opposed to it's almost a need to have now. I am 100% all for learning a trade or a skill nowadays. We look at things like mechanics, plumbers, like those things are getting harder and harder to find, which also means that they're really high paying. Also, people work in the healthcare industry, not necessarily as a doctor, but any other field, you don't need to have these high degrees. You can go to a trade school and learn the skills and get paid really, really well. Rhode Island medical is one of those fields that it's really booming up here. My daughter's going into a high school program that's going to prep her for medical stuff. So, I mean, those are the way I think that kids should be looking at, unless it's something you really need to go to college for. One do and one don't. So that being said, I did go to college. I do have a bachelor's degree. I have 3 associate's degrees. Yeah, so I've done my time by all means. One do. The relationships you make in that time, hang on to those. Generally speaking, and from my own experience, those are the friendships that last, whereas high school ones can drift away a lot easier, I think. Whereas the college ones, you're more adult, you've gone through different type of situations, life situations, you know, that you may be friends with those people when you get married. My best friends in college were all at my wedding party. So, I mean, those are memories I will always have, and that'll be there. So hang on to those things. As far as don'ts, I hate to be stereotypical, but this is where coach is actually going to like my answer, I think. Watch the booze. Watch the drugs, stuff like that. Guys, don't go to college to do that kind of stuff. That's just going to wreck your chances. You're paying a buttload to be there. You're prepping yourself for your career and better yourself. Don't get caught up in the hype with that kind of stuff, because that's just going to drag you down. And if you just plan on doing that anyway, then save your debt and don't go to college. Go work, go be a manager. And I'm not knocking this. Go be a manager at McDonald's, go be a manager at Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, something like that. And drink on the weekends. Go ahead. Go nuts. That's fine. But if you're going to college, please take it serious for the sake of yourself if you're paying it out, or if your parents are assisting you with that, for the sake of their money that they're going to be throwing down the hole if you fall down that rabbit hole. Just do it right. Do your best. Try hard. That's it for me. So, Dev, we're going to flip it and go to you first this time.
So, much like you said, I kind of feel the same way. You end up getting into all this debt and you make like $12 an hour. It's kind of crazy. So I kind of have 2 do's. One, take as many college classes you can while you're already in high school.
Yes,
there
absolutely.
are a lot of schools that offer to be able to take a class that gives you high school as well as college credits. So the more college credits you have going into college, the better off you are just from a jump start. So you're not in college.
Now they call it AP courses. So
well, that's the program my daughter is doing. So she's going what's called P-Tech, and she's kept separate from the rest of the high school. Not, they'll have lunch together and a social interaction there, but she has a separate set of classes. And if she puts her head down, she does her work. By the time she graduates high school, she will also have an associate's degree. Like, that's how hardcore this one is. And I'm like, and the best part is if she does it while she's in high school, it's free.
Exactly.
So,
that's exactly where I'm going with that. You're cutting out half your debt by being able to take those classes and be done with half the stuff already. So you get in there, you only got 2 years left before you get your degree. So you've got only 2 years of debt opposed to the ridiculous 4 to 6, depending on what you decide to major in or whether or not you change majors.
And even then, you're more likely to get a scholarship from that college you obtained your associates with, because they show like, man, this person's serious in high school. You may get scholarships or financial aid to do those last 2 years and make your burden even easier too. So
yeah,
good call on
exactly. The other thing, get involved. One of the worst things you can do is go to college and not experience college. So while you're there, get involved, get into some kind of club or anything, whatever you can do to be involved in more of the actual extracurricular stuff. Get involved, be a part of the college. So like when you actually graduate and you're an alumni, you still have a tie to it. Like you've done something that leaves an impression. The don't would be, don't go there just to be there and fool around. Like go there with a purpose. So don't get so, involved in all the parties and the drinking and all of that stuff. Like you really want to be there, for a purpose. Like have fun, but also be able to be serious about it, because otherwise you're going to rack up tons and tons of debt or be in school forever because you need to retake classes and things of that nature. So
I agree.
Pay attention.
I agree. Good call. Caroline?
Y'all stolen my don'ts. But anyway, I'll give y'all a few do's. Do go to college because you want to. Don't go to college because your parents want you to go. If you feel that college is not for you, then it probably isn't going to be for you. I've known people that parents that have put their children through college, or people that have gone to college that personally had no business being there because they just like, some people just aren't good students, and like school is difficult for them and challenging for them. And that's okay. Like there's trade schools for that. My dad was one of those people. He tried doing the college thing, spent 3 years there before he, had, all of 30 hours accrued. And then he decided, what am I doing wasting my time with this school stuff? When I can go over to the trade school over here. And now he's an aircraft mechanic and he makes tons of money. So it's just something that if you think that you probably would not fit into that student vibe for another 4 years, 2 or 4 years, don't do it. Because, there's a never ending thing for us. It's hard for us to get by with just a bachelor's degree. I've got a bachelor's degree, and most places now want you to have a master's for what I do. And then, the master's is just a whole nother 6 figures of debt. It's ridiculous. And,
which is crazy because, you and I went to school for the same thing.
I know
it's in art, so it's subjective. Like having that master's means nothing because you could be a crap designer.
Yeah, I have friends that from my cohort in design at UGA and for my bachelor's that actually went and did the master's degree, and they still don't have a job in their field.
Yep.
So it's all about what's available, and the economy has sucked and not sucked, and it's just about opportunity and stuff. But in terms of don't go to that was my don't go if you don't feel like it. Do go and like Kevin said, make those relationships, and don't write off anybody either. Like I had tons of people there, some people that I don't talk to anymore, but some people that I do. One of them being when I was a senior, I was very bitter because I wanted to be one of those people that got her MRS degree. For those of you that don't know what that means, that means you go to college to basically find your husband. Mrs. Get it? Anyway, y'all didn't get that? Y'all have never heard that before? Wow.
That's a girl thing, so
I guess so.
Yeah, I didn't get my Mrs. degree either, so.
So yeah, like a lot of girls go to get their MRS degree, quote unquote. And I've been really bitter about that because I was a senior and I always wanted to be like with a guy that was older than me and that could take care of me and all this stuff. And I got a random roommate my sophomore year to fill in the one area of our apartment. And she had this guy over all the time. And he was a weird and goofy kid. And I was like, they have a weird relationship because they would like just argue all the time, but then they would be friends and they would be political science. They were political science majors and, just back and forth. And I ended up marrying the guy.
I was about to say, is that Brian?
Yeah. So like the kid was a sophomore when I was a senior. He's 2 years younger than me. So I didn't get the older guy, but I got a fantastic man. And like, it's just amazing how that kind of stuff lands in your lap and you're just like, really? Seriously? But those kinds of relationships, they really do happen. And I have so many friends that I miss dearly that have moved across the country, but I still keep in touch with. And I can't say that for any of my high school friends, or really, like, I just don't talk to anybody from high school anymore. So,
hey, I know what that's like.
Well, you Thanos them, so that's different.
That's true. That's true. Although I will say, it's funny, and this is just gonna look bad.
But look, just another thing because I know like there's a bunch of high school kids that are probably listening right now. It's not that I didn't. Part of it was I didn't like the school that I got in through. It was a Christian school that was very harping on like a lot of certain things, and I was not that there's anything wrong with a Christian school. I'm a Christian and all this stuff, but it just kind of sat very sour with me at the end. Also, we don't have social media like you guys. We did not have social media like you guys do now, to where you can just keep in touch with everybody, through Facebook or something like that. Growing up, we didn't have that kind of stuff, and you guys have that at your fingertips. So if you choose to, you absolutely can, but it just wasn't as easy for us going through, graduation and trying to keep in touch with people that were moving on to other places. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. So, like your story about people that you knew in college and you never know when you might run into them again in life, kind of deal. So keep those connections. Like you said, same thing. I graduated college in 2003, so social media was there, but it was like just MySpace, I think. But I didn't do that at all. So I was like, I was not about that life. But Dev is gonna find this funny, and I already know this is going. So, if you recall, a long time ago in the early days of Food Network, go figure, there was it was like every Sunday night they had the like cake challenges where bakers would line up and they say, hey, you gotta do a cake in this theme.
Yeah, I remember that. Do you remember the Disney one?
Yeah.
They did the Disney villains one. Oh,
and that's when Buddy from Cake Boss like got his start, was actually on that show kind of deal. Well, two guys that I went to college with appeared on that show like on the regular as competitors making cakes, and I just thought it was so funny, like, oh my god, that's so and so, like, and then the name would come up, like, I knew it was them. I never talked to them again. Like after college, like they were people I didn't stay connected with. But I was like, holy crap! So my Food Network connections go back even farther than we thought, Dev. That just reminded me.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
You are the next Food Network star.
But I'm not. That's the thing. Like I don't cook that. Oh, anyway. All right, moving on because we're spending a lot of time here on fun stuff. But this one's fun. So this next one comes from Chowfie. What up, Chowfie?
Hey, what up? Alex was good.
So he didn't really clarify here, or coach did in the notes. So I'm going to interpret his question a little bit. It just says, Chowfie, most Florida story. So I'm not taking that as like, what's the most, Florida story you've heard, and give an example of a story that happened in Florida. I want you guys to give me a story that's so crazy you would think it only happened in Florida. And I'm going to give away one of my good stories. So you all know, well, I don't know if Caroline knows because she came a little bit later, my Hanson story. I mean, Dev probably remembers that when I met Hanson.
I don't know it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not using that one. I've said that, I think, on this show, and I think Delvin Cox got me to tell that story.
Now I need to know.
I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
Or you can go back and listen. This story is something special. This is just as good. All right. So my family grew up. My dad was a truck driver for a long time. Eventually, the place he worked for shut down, and he ended up working in retail, like CVS, being a warehouse guy, unloading stuff. Like that's just, he was a very physical guy his whole life. He still is. He still does it. God bless him. He's way too old to be doing that kind of job, but he's still doing it. My mom was retail management. She worked at like Brooks, Rite Aid, that whole nine. She ended up in CVS later on in life. She ended up in a bad location for a store in a not nice neighborhood in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, which is a lovely area now, but back then it was not nice. And this was in the glory days of retail when, if somebody was stealing stuff, you could go after them and you could accuse them and not worry about being sued. Like nowadays, like you have to witness somebody the entire time, steal something, and they have to leave the building before you can call the cops. And at that point, the cops can't do anything because they're long gone. So, even myself at 16, I grew up in the retail environment too. Like they got me a job at CVS because that's where they work. So it was like I was in a different store, but the whole nine. It's like I chased after shoplifters, I did all that stuff too. So VHS tapes come into this story too, which is funny. And if y'all remember Homeward Bound,
oh my god, Tear Fest.
So a woman ran and grabbed like the display and tried to run out the store with like a whole display of these videos. Like the whole day, like what are you gonna do with that? First off, I don't even know, because VHS tapes you can just buy bootleg ones at the flea market for like $3, whatever. So, woman grabs the whole thing and tries to run out the door. My mother goes chasing after her, running down the street, and the woman is taking the videos off the display and chucking them at her, like ninja stars, right? So this is like a main street, so they're running down the middle of this main road, and this woman's like, ninja star throwing these things. My mom catches up to him. Starts fighting her, like fist fighting her. Woman bites her. Okay.
Oh man.
And eventually my mom knocks her down. And actually there was an off-duty cop that happened to be in the CVS that eventually caught up to him and arrested the woman.
Rabies.
Here's where the story gets good. So first off, my mom chased after the shoplifter, knocked the shoplifter out, got bit in the process, saved the day, quote unquote. At least, take her in on the station, do the whole nine, call my mom up later on. And say, well, we got the woman, it's all set. We're going to return the merchandise to you. We just have to keep it for evidence. As soon as it's done, we'll return it back. We'll call your corporate office. No big deal, blah, blah, blah. The woman was, her job was a Foxy Boxer, which the Foxy Ladies is a strip club in Rhode Island. And they have this special thing on like Saturday nights where women will box each other, but they're strippers. So my mom beat up a stripper and then got bit So as you can imagine, if you get bit by a stripper, you kind of need to have like AIDS tests for a few years to make sure you don't get HIV. So that is my most Florida story, where my mom beat up a stripper, got bit, and had to be tested for HIV, which it's all good. Nothing ended up happening, but yeah, my mom beat up a stripper. That's always a fun story.
Wow. That is definitely a Florida story, because if I had heard that there was someone who stole a box of Homeward Bound VHS and took off running, and lo and behold, she was a foxy boxy stripper. Yeah, I definitely would have been like, that's got to be Florida.
Yep. So I can always proudly tell my friends my mom beat up a stripper. So
wow,
it's all good. And my dad had nothing to do with it, which is good. But
wow.
So Caroline, what is your most Florida story?
Dude, I don't have a Florida story. Like, I don't have anything that's like crazy people doing crazy stuff. I have a crazy story about myself that people don't believe until I explain it to them.
There you go. Okay.
Okay. So I'm 14 years old. My dad and my sister decide that they're going to go pick up the Chinese food that my mom had ordered. And my mom at the time was like really big into Weight Watchers and kind of stuff. And she walked every day. She walked a mile every day. Well, it was only a 15-minute drive for my dad and my sister. So she's like, well, I'm going to take the dogs and I'm going to go one or lap up the neighborhood and back. And that is about a half mile. So I was like, well, I'll go with you. This was the last Saturday in June. It was probably about 6 o'clock at night. So it's still plenty light out. And we're walking. Our house is like right at the front of the neighborhood. And at the very end of the neighborhood is like a bunch of undeveloped lots. And that's where we walk to. And then we turn around at like a light pole and then go all the way back. So we get all the way to the end of the neighborhood. We have 2 golden retrievers. My mom has got one. I've got the other one. And she and the first dog go in front of us. And then I've got the other dog. And I walk. And just to preface this, my mother said, wear your walking shoes. And I said, Mom, we're only going to be gone 15 minutes. I'm just going to wear flip-flops. And my mom like had bone spurs in her feet before. She was a real stickler to walking with walking shoes. So I wore flip-flops. And Mom, dog 1, and dog 2 all walk. And then I walk. And then all of a sudden, God, I got this sharp pain in my foot. Like, what the heck did I step on? And I look and like, I'm looking for a piece of glass. Like, God, I stepped on a piece of glass or something. And I don't see anything. But I look down and the side of my foot is just dripping blood. And I'm like, what the heck? And I'm looking around. There's pine cones and stuff on the asphalt. And all of a sudden, the snake snaps at me again. And it is, we learned later, a baby copperhead. For those that don't know about snakes, venomous snakes will, if they're babies, release all of their venom. So as this was a baby, it didn't know how to control its venom, and it released all of it. So I'm bitten on the inside part of my heel, and my mom's like, I'm gonna get a rock to try and go and kill it. So she gives me both 80-pound golden retrievers. I can't even put my foot down at this point. I'm standing one leg with 2 dogs that are freaking out, trying to restrain them with their leashes. Luckily, our neighbor pulls up, and she is able to pile all of us into the back of her car. I, hobble 1 foot up the stairs back into the house when I get there. And my dad and my sister had already got there. I said, call 911. I got bit by a snake. And my dad says, no, you didn't. Like, no. Funny joke, right? And I'm like, no, seriously, look at my foot. So I get on the couch. They tell me to elevate it, I'm talking to 911. It takes about 5 minutes for the EMTs to get there. By the time the EMT gets there, we have like a fire department that's pretty close to our house. I couldn't even put a compress on it. So my leg is there, and the EMT actually comes with a Sharpie marker, and he puts his finger in on my leg, and he's like, tell me where the pain is. And so like he would press down, and I'd tell him where it is, and he'd make a line, and he'd go up my leg and keep making lines up to where the pain was. So he'd gotten all the way up to my knee pretty much in just a matter of 10 minutes. So I got to go in the hospital. Number 1, I'm 14 years old and I can't stand needles. I get stuck in the ambulance. Our good friend who was a urologist, my mom called him and said, she's been bitten by a snake. And he said, I'll meet you at the hospital. He called them and told them to go ahead and start warming up the antivenin. The antivenin is actually frozen or in the refrigerator. So they have to warm it up with their hands because it's a compound. And if you microwave it, it'll degenerate. So they had to sit there and warm it up with their hands. So they only had 2 vials of antivenin at my local hospital. So what happens to me then? I get to, number 2, experience my second fear, which is life flight to downtown Atlanta in the middle of like darkness. And this helicopter is so small, right? Like it's just, there's nothing but glass panes.
Right,
it's just glass. And I'm lying down, but looking back, it is probably one of the coolest experiences I've ever gotten to like experience. It's nighttime, Atlanta, Saturday night. Yeah, I was in pain and I was on morphine and all sorts of stuff. I was terrified, but yeah. So then I get to spend, I was the youngest snake bite victim in the state to be treated with the new drug of sheep's blood antivenin, which had previously been horse blood antivenin. So I had like 8 or 9 vials of the stuff before I was cleared to go. But I had like doctors coming in from all over the Southeast to monitor how I responded to the drug. So that's probably like the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. And to this day, you have like, there's a little discoloration on my heel and you can just like, if I press it, it kind of hurts.
So what you're saying, you're like some of those dinosaurs in Jurassic World where they spliced a raptor and a T-Rex, but you're a sheep and a human.
Sort of.
No,
that would make it a Florida story.
Yes. Yep. So Caroline is part sheep. That's the story right there. Yep.
Yeah.
Bad story. Anyway, Dev, what is your most Florida story from California?
You would think that living in Cali, I'd have way more stories, but it's not. LA is so big.
Yeah,
it's just not that much happens. Like, oh man. So I'd say the closest thing to a Florida type story that I have. Me and my boy Doug, we're on our lunch break. We work in a warehouse, not in any part of LA that's fancier than anybody would know, unless you live in LA. So we work in a warehouse where we pack pills or whatnot. So we're packing pills and they get shipped out. So we decided to go to lunch. Not like that.
I know, I'm being silly.
It was actually like before 9/11 when like people were spending money on all kind of random craziness, and this business was built off of that. It had all kind of just like all kind of pills. They had pills for erectile dysfunction, pills to make you thin, all kind of nonsense, and people were just pouring in money into it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really lucrative business at the time. So yeah, every summer I would go there, get paid really well to just pack pills, throw them in the bag, ship them off. So anyway, me and my boy Doug, we're going to lunch, and we're driving down I forget what street it is. I think it was Sepulveda, and it's pretty busy, but it's like stop and go. So my boy Doug is like, "Yo, hop out the car real quick and go get me a Working World magazine." So I jump out the car and I run down the street. All of a sudden, somebody pulls a gun on me. I'm not paying any attention, but I've got a gun pointed at my chest, and it's one of the armored car vehicle guys. He is like, "Do not make another move. I will shoot you." So I'm sitting there, and at this point, it's the summertime, so I have a bald head. So I'm like razor bald. I'm wearing a white tee, and I have Dickies. So I already looked the part. I'm about to try to rob this armored car. So I'm sitting there like frozen, scared for my life. I'm like, I'm just getting a Working World magazine and like slowly pointing over to it and like take a step. He's like, "Don't move, I will shoot you." So I'm like, all right, I got nothing on me. I'm not doing anything. Can I just grab the Working World magazine from my friend? We're just trying to get a job. He's like, all right, but if you make any sudden moves, I'm shooting you. So I just slowly grabbed the Working World magazine, and then my boy Doug pulls up. I'm like, I'm just getting in the car. So I just slowly get in the car, and that was it. And my boy Doug was like, "I didn't know what I was going to tell your mom because I thought that was the end of your life."
Holy crap, dude.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh my God. When you told me that, my heart like stopped.
Well, I mean, obviously he wasn't shot.
I'm still here.
I know, but still.
Now, did your boy get a subscription instead of having to pick it up?
No, because it was free. Working World magazines are free. He was just looking for other jobs.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's always worked like 2 or 3 jobs at a time. So he was looking for just a second job. And so I got the magazine.
Crap.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
Yeah, that's a little scary. All right, moving on to later fare then. This one should be kind of a quick hit, but this I thought was funny. Greg asks, what athlete could you take in a fight? Unpreparedness. This one I had to think about, and I'm typically not somebody to get in a fight unless I absolutely had to. So I don't know if there's an athlete I would go on and take in a fight, but like in my head, I'm like, most athletes would probably whoop me. Maybe I could take out a golfer or two, but then I came upon my perfect answer. I think most of us here at PSVG feel that
you're gonna steal it. You
I don't know.
stole my answer. Any of the gaming streamer people.
Okay, but I have a specific one that I would love to slap around a bit because gaming is considered a sport now. I would slap the hell out of Ninja. I would pound him. I cannot stand him, and I've seen some videos lately that just make me hate him even more. So that is the athlete I could take in a fight, and I would actually want to take in a fight would be Ninja. So make that happen. Tweet at Ninja fight Kevin. We'll do like an MMA match. We'll stream that. Whatever. I'm down.
Stone Cold Kevin Austin versus Ninja. Let's go.
Yep. I'm bringing the folding chair. I don't even care. Just right to the dome.
Wow.
So Caroline, what's your answer then?
I was just gonna say I could probably beat up on some of those little wimpy kids at the Smash tournaments.
Okay.
There's some bunch of wimpy kids.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Both of you went like streamers. I didn't even think about esports. I didn't even cross my mind.
Like I said, I couldn't think of an athlete I want. Like my initial answer until I thought of that was like, oh, well, I'll take Tiger Woods. Like, pretty sure I could beat Tiger Woods.
Have you seen how swole Tiger Woods is? I don't know.
Not lately. Have you seen him lately?
I feel like he's still packing a punch.
You got to swing. I don't know. I'll give him a stunner. Folding chair and a stunner. That's my plan for anybody. Any fight, just boom, done.
Oh man, I'm trying to think like a volleyball player or something. Man. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I'm just pretty ruthless, and if it were any kind of man, I would just go up to him and punch him in the where and be done with it.
So that's just wrong.
Yeah, that's just rude. Why is it gotta be a man? Why can't you fight a woman?
Like, I know why.
Because women aren't is susceptible there. I guess.
But I mean, there's women athletes.
Why
you can fight them. You don't have to fight a dude.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I could probably take any guy. Just
because you want to cheat.
Punch.
You want to cheat and go for the nards. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Like didn't say it had to be fair. Just said who could you take?
Yeah. That's true. Kevin is trying to hit people with chairs and stunners and stuff. So I don't blame you.
I guess.
Yeah.
Guys, beware. I won't do that, guys. I won't do that.
You know what? I'm gonna take out one of these new basketball players. I'm gonna take out Trae Young. He's little.
Okay.
I think I can take Trae Young. He's one of your Atlanta players now.
Yeah,
so.
I know.
He's a little dude. I think I can take him.
It's like I'm gonna beat up Muggsy Bogues. Like you just pick it on.
I mean, I'm not a big dude. I'm only 5'7", but he's just so little.
Yeah, he's tiny. When we got him, I was like, what?
He's a chucker too.
Doing, dude.
Have you seen any of his summer league play?
Yes.
Oh man, good luck.
Yeah, I know. We haven't been good since we lost Corver. Whatever.
That's true. It's unfortunate. There was a time when Atlanta was like, y'all was looking like y'all could do some things, and
like so 3 years ago we were in the playoffs, and now it's just all downhill from there.
Well, the East is wide open now that LeBron has decided to leave and take his talents west. So
LeBron, go where the money is.
Really, it is. It'll be interesting to see next year what happens. But.
Absolutely.
All right, we got 2 more left, and we're running a little long on time, so let's knock these out. Skylar wants to know if we could be in a sitcom, which one would we be in? For me, this is easy. It's a no-brainer. Scrubs all the way, because JD Turk would be my homeboys. I would hang with them all the time, no problem, and would love every second of it. I can watch Scrubs all day, every day. Doesn't matter. I love
Scrubs is a sitcom. They didn't have a laugh track.
They don't need a laugh track.
That's what describes a sitcom, a laugh track?
I think so. I think Scrubs was just a comedy.
It's a situational comedy. That's a sitcom. And if they're in a situation and it's a comedy, it's a sitcom. Friends didn't have a laugh track.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Friends had a laugh track. I promise.
They had a live studio audience. That's different. That's not laugh track, woman.
Same thing.
Nope. Laugh track is recorded, pre-recorded. Flintstones had a laugh track. Would you consider that a sitcom?
There's pauses for laughing.
Okay, but Flintstones had a laugh track. Would you consider that a sitcom?
situation cartoon.
Anyway, what's your answer? Instead of arguing mine, because mine is right. Calm down.
Seinfeld, just because Seinfeld is thebomb.com.
Seinfeld is a great show. But then again, so is Scrubs. I mean, I would say Scrubs is the greater of the two. But that's just because I like Scrubs better than Seinfeld. I would probably, I would be in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, man.
I knew you were going to say that.
That is a great one, too.
I want to kick my man Will Smith. Let's go.
You're already in Cali?
Dad's out the door. Let's make it happen.
That is a fantastic answer. I didn't even think of that. That is great.
Absolutely.
Oh, fun questions. All right, so last question comes in from Sarah. Is there anything we would want to see gaming do different with their next generation of consoles to bring it back gaming? That's it there. For me, it's tough. Like if I'm thinking broad strokes and not picking a console, so like you say anything gaming do different going forward, I'm just gonna say I want, and I know it is for Xbox, but I want backwards compatibility to be a continuing thing. If I buy something digital, I want to be able to play it on any console I have going forward with that company. And then the other thing, which is a hot topic right now, is cross-platform play. It's not a huge deal for me. It's not a deal breaker for me, but like I just had to, with this whole Fortnite thing, I just had to go and set up a new account for my daughter because she wants to play on PlayStation Fortnite with all of her friends. So all of her friends have PS4s, and she doesn't like playing on the computer. So because of Sony, I couldn't just say, oh, just log in and use this, because I could risk losing all my stuff, which it hasn't been, blocked yet, but I don't want to tempt fate, so I haven't played it since. So I had to create a new account for her just so she could play with like her 3 friends on PlayStation. That's just unlock that, please. That was my answer. It's nice and easy. Caroline, what about you?
Yeah, I was going to say crossplay, just because I think it's been long overdue. We've kind of broken the exclusive barriers for most games that, are online and multiplayer. And I think that'll come. I think what Xbox and Switch are doing, and with the PC world, I think we're on a good track.
I think so. Dev?
Yeah, I don't care about crossplay. I can have it.
Yeah, that's what I was
Spoken like a true Sony man.
Pretty much. What I'd like to actually see happen, what I'd like to have is modular systems where instead of having to buy a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X, I can just replace the processor or replace the graphics card with a better model. So where we get a little bit more life out of the systems and we're not stuck in these 5-year cycles or whatnot. Instead of having the mid-year like slim or whatnot, no, you've got a better processor you can buy for the system to have better frames. You got get a better graphics card, so now we can do 8K or whatnot. So I would much rather see some kind of modularity to the systems to be able to extend the lifetime of the actual consoles instead of having these short cycles where like right now we feel like we're just getting to the thick of the PS4 Switch Xbox cycle, and it feels like we're about to just jump into a new cycle of consoles already. It's like, man, like we've just arrived. So that's what I'd like to see change next year.
I agree. Fingers crossed. We still have, like you said, another year probably till we hear about the new consoles, probably till they launch. So hopefully we'll see some steps in the right direction. Hopefully Xbox continues doing what they're doing right, because they are doing great things in that regard. Love to see Sony fix their issues, hopefully, and catch up with the rest. And man, Nintendo, just stop making me buy my same games over and over again, please. That's all I want. So that wraps up for questions, everybody. So thank you so much for sending those in to Coach. We appreciate it, of course. Dev, was there any curveball since we're at the end?
No, since we've been so super long, I was like, we're going to save the curveballs. But I've got a bunch of them. So.
I want to see you just blitz Coach and not even let him hit any of his questions. Just keep throwing curveballs at him next time.
You know what? I've got enough.
I've got enough episode. So thank you, everybody, for listening and joining us tonight. Caroline, before we go, where can everybody find you and what you're working on?
I'm the Nintendame on Twitter. I'm starting a stream on Twitch, so find me at the Nintendame on Twitch. I'll also be uploading any missing streams that you may have missed on YouTube at the Nintendame. So you can find me at the Nintendame anywhere. Also chat with me in the Discord and make us better.
You should probably just upload your stuff to the PSVG YouTube. Just saying.
I'm also going to do that.
Okay. Just a second.
Get you a streamer that can do both.
I know, right? Jeez. Dev, what about you, man?
You can find me at Tyus on Twitter. Come holler at me, start a fight, because I like talking trash. You can also find me on the Make Us Better Discord, where I constantly yell at Donnie and tell him how wrong he is.
Although this week he can't because he's on vacation.
Yeah, I've still told him he's wrong. So
That's true. He just doesn't know it yet until he comes back and checks all his messages. Maybe I don't know. Here I'm supposed to say I am coach and I'm working on the same stuff, which kind of contradicts because he said last week he wasn't working on anything anymore. He scrapped it all. So if his same stuff means he's not working on anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna make him release that thing that he wrote that was super long and did all the research.
Yeah, I've run
that
every once in a while. Somebody hits me up and asks where that is, and I'm like, I have never seen it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that happen because it sounded like it was gonna be something excellent, and he likes to forget that he actually does write some pretty good stuff. So we're gonna make that come out.
I agree. Push him to do that. So, but you can follow me if you'd like to at PSVG Kevin on Twitter. Hit up the website psvg.blog, like Dev said. Hit up the Discord if you're into that. We talk all day about multitudes of different things at this point now, and our community is bigger and better. And speaking of that community, thank you everybody for helping join the cause and make us better at patreon.com/makeusbetter. Our featured Patreon this week to continue the Coach Mo tradition is actually Taco Bell, and they want you guys to know that the nacho fries are back.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so happy about that. You don't understand. Nacho fries are life.
Exactly. So with that, everybody, thank you again for listening. See you next week. That's game over.
Shut up and sit down.